Alright, so this is a Burning Skull Servant, or Burning Abyss Skull Servant, or Skull Servant Burning Abyss, whichever way you want to call it. Half the deck is Skull Servants, the basic Skull Servant stuff. The other half is the Burning Abyss, and then you got some hand traps and Mizuki, damage died, and Earth from a different dimension comes in handy with the Skull Servants, especially when you use White Prince's effect. So obviously you got King of the Skull Servant. He gets 1,000 for every Skull Servant monster in the grave. His added ability is when this card is destroyed by battle, sent to the graveyard by remove from play one other King of the Skull Servants or a Skull Servant card in your graveyard. Special summon this card. It's nice they say card because they might make some spells and traps, so that'd be kind of cool they do that. But obviously you can banish Skull Servants themselves. The Lady of Wit, which she counts as Skull Servant in the grave, same as the Prince, and same as the White Mare. Then we got the Lady of Wit. A lot of people like saying white. Face of level 3 or lower zombie type monsters on the field, except her, cannot be destroyed by a battle and are unaffected by a spell and trap artifacts, which is nice to be unaffected, right? Better than not being able to be destroyed or whatnot. Just unaffected is just more devastating, because that means even if your opponent has something like red screen or some type of card that will prevent attacking, you summon her and then now your monsters can attack. Of course you can avoid stuff like Mirror Force, Deep Prison, all that jazz, right? This card's name, of course, is treated as Skull Servants in the graveyard. White Prince. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Skull Servant and one Lady in Wit from your deck, from your hand or deck to the graveyard. So that's pretty good. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and 2 other copies of Skull Servant from your graveyard. Special summon one King of the Skull Servant from your deck. So this is a good way of special summoning from your deck onto the field King of the Skull Servant without having to use 1-for-1, right? And because of that effect, you have Bird from a different dimension, so you can add all 3 of those monsters back to the graveyard, and since they all count as King of the Skull Servant, they all count as, they're all treated as Skull Servant in the grave. The King of the Skull Servant would get a 3,000 boost, so yeah, I like that. So you can instantly have a 3,000 on the field. White Mare has the effect that you can discard this card to activate one of the following effects. Select one of your remove from play Skull Servant or White Mare and special summon it to and return it to the graveyard. So it's a way of getting monsters back in the grave. Or select one of your remove from play the Lady in Wit or King of the Skull Servant and special summon it. So obviously you can use White Mare, Prince Mare to banish Skull Servant, or even a Skull Servant and the Lady of Wit for his effect, banishing them to summon King of the Skull Servants, and then you can use White Mare's effect to discard him, which will give you an extra 1,000 boost to special summon. To use the effect to special summon Lady of Wit out of play onto your side of the field, so that we can have that protection. And let's say you have another Skull Servant removed from play already, or even just Mizuki. That's another thing. Even if you have Mizuki out of play, then you can play Bird from a different dimension and get the Skull Servant that was removed from play and the Wit Prince. Let's get them to the graveyard. Now you have Skull Servant Whitmare, Whit Prince in the graveyard, give me skulls, King of Skulls at 3,000 boost. So he's at 3,000. Then you have Lady Wit on the field to give him the protection, and you got Mizuki in the graveyard in case you need to bring back a Skull Servant, or Lady Wit if she gets destroyed by a card effect like Dark Hole or something. And of course Skull Servant will survive, and you can just bring her back using Mizuki. But her going to the graveyard, of course, will give you an extra 1,000 boost, so you'll be 4,000. All that good stuff. Anyway, we have Sir of the Burning Abyss. He can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from the graveyard onto the field, and he can special, if you choose not to use that effect, of course, you can special summon him when you have no spawn trap cards on your side field. So helps you go into some rank 3 plays. This is a graph of the Burning Abyss. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Burning Abyss monster from your deck and special summon it onto the field. It also has the effect that if you don't use that other effect, you control no spells and trap cards, you can special summon this card from your hand, which can help you go into some rank 3 play, exceed play. This is Skarn. He has the effect of during the end phase, you can, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add one level 3 Dark Fiend type monster from your deck to your hand. Or target for that will be Tour Guide, but you can grab any of the Burning Abyss monsters. Not Lady Wit because she's a zombie, not a fiend. Right, and he also has the effect that if you don't use that other effect and you control no spells and traps, you can special summon this card from your hand, so you can go into some rank 3 plays. Tour Guide lets you grab any of these Burning Abyss monsters or a copy of herself and go into a rank 3 exceed play. The most typical thing you're going to do is go into a Dante because you're trying to get milled. As you can see, this deck is heavy on monsters, and the Skull Servants, being in the graveyard is a benefit because that powers up the King of the Skull Servants, and the Burning Abyss monsters get their effects from being sent to the graveyard. So you want that so you can swarm the field and put enough damage on the board. I was in a scenario, I'll show you the picture, where I had 2 Dantes and I ended up with 2 King of the Skull Servants. Let me grab that picture very quick so you can see the potential of the deck's capabilities. You have to hurry up. I guess I should have had this already open waiting to be viewed. I don't know why the computer's taking too long to show that damn picture. There we go. Yeah, so here's a screenshot. And as you can see, I used up both Dante's abilities, so that gave me 12 monsters in the grave. 12 monsters in the grave. My opponent had, looks like a Mizuki? I think that's Mizuki. Anyway, because apparently this ended up being a mirror match because the AI randomly got the same deck I was running. It's like, oh really, you're running Skull Servants? But anyway, as you can see, I used up the materials, so I got 12 cards plus the 4 cards that already went in the graveyard. I used a Mizuki, which allowed me to special summon that Skull Servant. This turn I normal summon Skull Servant. And you can see the Dantes are 2500s each. I attack with this Dante, so that's why he's in defense mode. And I attacked directly for 4,000, which was game. And you can see I still have a pretty big hand to use. Most of this XYZ was done by using 2 Burning Abyss, one I special, then one I normal. Went into Dante first turn, and then went from there. Milled, got the Mizuki, Skull Servant play, more mill. And as you see, it's turn 5, so Didn't take that long to get this much power on the field. Anyway, back to the deck profile. Oops, wrong button. Battle fader for defense. You know, gotta have some hand traps. And plus, this is a monster match style deck, right? So you don't want to use too many spells and traps, especially if your opponent has the ability to lock spells and traps. You don't want to end up in that scenario where you can't play spells and traps, or you definitely can't defend yourself. So battle fader will help you defend. Plus, you can go into some rank 1 plays with it. You got Signal Red, which is a level 3. It could protect you, or protect Skull Servant from being killed as a result of battle, whatever. You know, and go into a rank 3 play like a Dante, mill some more, and hopefully get some more Skull Servants to pump up the Skull Servant so you can't get runned over. Mizuki, it's like your Book of Life, you know, your Monster Reborn, your Call of Haunted, whichever way you want to call it. So that way you can get Skull Servant back from the graveyard onto the field, or a Lady of Wit, so that way you can protect the Skull Servant from card effects. Damage Diet, because since this deck mills with the Dante's effect, you know, you want some type of defense that is not just from the hand, like the Battle Fader and stuff. So this is a lot stronger than, in my opinion, the NecroGardener, because it can reduce damage. It won't protect your monsters, but it'll reduce damage. It's good against chain burn and stuff like that. You know, definitely good against somebody trying to finish you off with a Gaga Cowboy. You can use this to prevent that, where NecroGardener cannot stop that. This is Bird from a Different Dimension. Obviously, I mentioned combos you can use with it, mainly to get your Mizukis and Soul Servants and anything you banished, or anything that was banished, back to the graveyard so you can reuse them. Slacker Magician. Gotta a little more defense. And gotta defend yourself. Same thing where Utopia Roots, defend yourself. Butcher's Color Hand, good for you know, halving your opponent's monster's attack, so that way your Skull Servant can deal the most amount of damage. Zenmane for defense and get rid of anything you need to get rid of, like Backroll, for example. Livyar also helps you get anything that's out of play onto the field, like Skull Servant, like a King Skull Servant, for example, a Lady Mare, number 47 Nightmare, a Shark, in case you need to attack the opponent directly for game. Alucard obviously helps you pop Backroll or any set card, and he's a decent attacking defense. Engineer helps you stall. It's good against JD and things, Black Rose, Exciton, things of that nature. 10 Tempo, good for dealing with certain XYZs, taking away their material, especially if somebody has an Exciton. You can exceed into this, use this effect to detach a material from Exciton, so hopefully he ends up not having no more materials, and then you can take him down with an attack. You could also use it on, like, maybe your opponent's Acid Golem, so that way he gets Acid Burn. that would definitely be good. They summon an Acid Golem, attack, you deal damage, then you go into a 10 Tempo, detach a material during your turn, then during his turn, he draws, you chain to his the activation of his effect, and detach another material, so that way he can't afford the cost, and he has to take 2,000, so that'd be funny. Of course, Acid Golem in case there's skill drain in the field, or just because you need a 3,000 beat stick to take down your opponent, or go for game. Evolvable Chain, you can use the Mizukis to make them, and helps you get more Skull Servants. The typical thing you want to do is get White Prince, send him to the grave, because then he'll help you send 2 more. He'll help you send a Skull Servant and Lady of Wit to the grave. So for 1 cost, one drop, you get 2 more, so you get 3 drops out of 1 effect. Exciton obviously helps you. You use Mizukis to make them, and helps you get rid of what's on the field. You know, since there's not, since there's no like Beto, MST, stuff like that in this deck, need some way of getting rid of the back row, so he's useful for that. And 3 Dantes, because 1 is not enough, especially in this deck. Then we can get the most amount of mills, as you saw in the picture. You know, I had 2 Dantes, and I have 16 cards in the graveyard because of the 2 Dantes. And you see I have 2 Skull Servants at 4,000 power each, so that was a lot of spam. And I still had like 16 cards left in my deck. To recycle certain things, in case you want to recycle these guys, you could use Exodios, of course. And that's the end of the deck profile.